Welcome, everybody, to our new session with Bill Allen on Prompting Like a Pro with Veras. Bill, thank you so much for being on this new session here.
Thanks for having me, Rick. Appreciate it. How's everybody doing? Good to see you.
Cool. We already have a lot of people watching us right now, a lot of people in the chat. Guys, feel free to post your questions in the chat. Bill will answer to them whenever he can, of course, during the presentation or after. Bill, it's your choice, really. And also, we'll have a couple questions for you guys on the chat. Bill will eventually introduce them. So I wish you guys a great session.
Thanks so much, Rick. All right. It looks like we have a lot of people on the call calling from all over the world. I usually like to ask where everyone is from, but you guys are ahead of the game, which is awesome. I'm going to be doing a live demo today, actually, of Veras inside Enscape, which I'm pretty excited about. But we want to make sure that we have a lot of interaction, a lot of engagement. And so feel free to post your questions in there. Rick will take those and try to just flag me down, Rick, and let me know if you feel one is relevant for the timing where we're at. And I'll be happy to try to answer those. Because we do have so many people, we probably get a lot of questions. And so we'll try to get to what we can, but we also want to try to get through all of the content to show you guys this cool workflow. So without further ado, we're going to jump into it. But what we want to do first is start off with a question, and we'd like to know, like, how would you describe your current experience level with Veras? And so that is a good question. And then the other one I think we just posted here is, are you using generative AI on a daily basis in your work? So that is in the poll there. You can hit answer now, and you should be able to answer those. And then we'll see where we're at on the poll. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and start to share my screen. I'm going to share my entire screen. All right. And what I want, you'll see I have a few windows open here. I have Veras, I have Enscape, and I have Revit here in the background. The cool thing about Enscape is real-time renderer. And so you get, this experience where you can walk through, be able to navigate your project and be able to get, a real-time rendering of that. Veras is going to be our AI renderer. So, to launch Enscape, you can hit the Enscape button over on the left. I already opened it just for time's sake to keep us moving. And then I'll show you guys if I go ahead and close Veras, and I'll maximize Enscape. And then I will go ahead and hit the little Veras button. We'll open this up. It'll sign us in. And then once we're in, we'll have this preview of the Enscape model. And then just seeing, Rick, how are we doing on our poll? Did everybody answer that? And do we see some results in here?
Yeah, we have some results here. I'm going to show them in a bit. So we still have people answering to those. We have over 100 votes already.
Oh.
So people are still like, let's give them a couple minutes and then we can come back to them.
All right, sounds good. People are still taking the test. It's like high school. It's like, all right, we'll get back to you. Finish the exam. All right. So here I have Veras open. And what I want to do is I want to show you basically this workflow. And I'm going to go ahead and go from this Explore tab to the Compose tab. Now, the Explore tab right now has a bunch of different presets in here. So if you're kind of getting new to Veras, you can, select any one of these, or you can go to the Compose tab and you can write your own prompt. And so right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to override this prompt here just by selecting it. We'll delete this. And I want to show you kind of a bad prompt, all right? So I'm going to say photo realistic rendering, and I'm going to go ahead and hit render. Now, these little buttons down here are the amount of renderings that you can do. It's going to close Veras, but launch it again. We're actually working on an integration where it's going to be much more tightly coupled to Enscape, and you won't have that experience. But currently, it does this kind of anytime I click inside of Veras and then click outside and go back, if I stay in here, it'll just keep the window open. And so I'm just going to say photorealistic rendering, and you'll see we get this kind of, plasticky, not realistic, kind of looking photo. It's not terrible, but it's not great. And so we want you guys to prompt like a pro. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab one of these presets and I'll kind of break it down what this is looking like. So in here, any of these 7Fs is for the 7 Flash. That is our newest render engine using Nano Banana. And I'm going to go ahead and fire this one off. And while I'm doing that, I want to read this prompt. So it says, the task is to enhance and embellish the provided building design into a photorealistic architecture masterpiece. The style and art direction is a high-end architectural photography in the style of Art Daily, editorial style, 4K resolution, etc. The main subject is this modern building. Is situated in a modern city during overcast. The lighting is volumetric sun, rays filtering through the trees, warm ambient lighting, etc. And then the constraints maintain the exact structural silhouette of the original design, no over smoothing or plastic AI look, etc., etc. And so you can see it's a very detailed prompt where we have a task, a style, and art direction components that are the main subject, how we want the lighting to look, and then also any further constraints. And then I'll click on this and you'll see, pretty much night and day difference between quality here. Now, if we want to just, edit the prompt a little bit instead of a kind of overcast mood kind of look, I can actually just change this to, during sunset. Sometimes when you prompt in here too, it'll change the orientation of the camera. And we'll see if it does it on this. But one thing you can do is also say maintain the exact camera angle and structural silhouette of the original design, and we'll kick off one of those. And so just kind of putting in some of these constraints will kind of further help make sure that you have this kind of control layer that we like to talk about, where it maintains that control, both the camera angle as well as the building design. And so in here I have now a sunset. It's maintaining that angle. And then the thing I want to show you is if I kind of toggle between the two of these, the geometry retention is pretty stinking good. You'll see here, it actually, even this really faint railing down at the bottom, it is even maintaining that. And so the difference between kind of this version 7 versus the version 6 that we still have, but, is not as good, is this geometry retention. For those of you that have been using Veras for a long time, you'll notice like the geometry override, the material override, all of that is gone because now we have the ability to prompt and get that, geometry retention. Now, if we do want, to further, change some of the design or edit some of these things, I can actually start to do things like, for the constraint, I could say maintain the exact camera angle and structural silhouette of the original design, but let's add some exposed steel balconies. And then I also want to say, if I can spell balconies, and then we'll say make the railings modern glass. And we'll go ahead and let's kick off 3 options for that, because now I'm actually starting to change it just a little bit. And I can start to get just a few design options while hopefully the windows, the outline of the building, all of that will stay the same. How are we doing on our poll, Rick? Any updates on that we should see?
Yeah, we actually have the results right here. Let me, not sure I can actually show them, but for the first question, how would you describe your current experience level with Veras? We have 40% of people identifying as beginners, 43% as intermediate, 16% as advanced, and only 1% as experts.
Oh, snap. We got an expert in here. Better turn it over to them. All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Rick. And then we're going to have another poll as well as we're getting into it, which is, I believe, what is the biggest challenge you face with AI rendering? So whenever we're ready for that, we'll send that one. Or which advanced Veras workflow are you most excited to learn about today? And then you can see some of these design options that we have that are here inside the project. These are different ones that we got back. And in here, I'm able to, multi-thread these renderings where I can select a few of these and hit render. And I got these different design options in here. So this is, a way that you could start to take a design and, just kind of further embellish it a little bit with some different ideas, different concepts, etc. So in here, what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to now pivot over to the interior of this project. I'm going to go to my kitchen scene, pop that one over. And Veras is syncing with Enscape. So whenever you change your window or update your scene, actually the preview updates as well. So that is a nice feature that we have as well. And I'm going to try to keep Veras full screen. I do see you, Farhan, to see if we can get Veras as bigger. I'll try to keep that full screen here so you guys can see that. Thanks for that. All right, so we have our kitchen scene here. I'm going to go ahead and maximize Veras. I'm going to go ahead and show the preview image here. This is what we have from the Enscape image. I'm actually going to just zoom in a little bit closer here so we can see this kitchen a little better. We'll go ahead and do that. How's our poll coming, Rick? Are people still taking the exam, or are we getting our answers in here?
Hey, folks, we are still a few people to answer this latest poll, so don't be shy.
Sounds good. All right. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and kick off a few of these renders. I'm inside Veras. It's full screen, so hopefully you can see this okay. This is a white interior design, white walls, white ceiling, gray wood floor, forest outside. Professional photography. We're going to add some people and entourage to embellish the scene a bit. I'm going to kick off two of those because I'm kind of swapping in between Veras and my other screen. It's going to reload here, but that's okay. And it's going to change it just a little bit because I have this forest outside, even though I don't have a window in here. So we should see that. I'm going to kick off another one as well, just to kind of show the contrast here of these dark finishes. And so we'll see both options here and kind of see the contrast between the two. Oh, this is great. Sometimes we get this with AI. Usually this is unique here for me, but this one did work pretty good. So we don't need half people. And then so we do have this scene of them kind of looking outside here. And then we'll see what the other one looks like. You'll see these two. So we have a few different design options. This one, it maintained that where the wall was because we don't have anything about the window on the outside. And what I want to do here actually is show one of the big benefits that we have with the Veras inside Enscape is that if I go to this edit tab, I can actually do this select by object. And so if I select this light fixture and this light fixture, and I say, I'll change this to rendered image. So that way it's going from the Enscape preview to my rendered preview. And then I'm going to change this prompt to bamboo light fixtures. And we'll go ahead and kick off two options for those. And let's see what we get. So this is one of the really nice things about Veras inside Enscape specifically, and a lot of people don't know this. What we're trying to do is we're working on this integration where we're actually accessing the BIM information. So with a lot of AI tools, it's kind of just image to image or text to image. What we're actually doing is because I have the select object, I'm actually able to select the actual light fixtures through Enscape into Revit. So those light fixtures are there, and I could select those. And then as I pick them, you'll see that it updated that bamboo light fixture. It looks like it went a little rogue here on this one, but that's okay. Here's one that we did get a good result. And those went ahead and updated just those light fixtures to bamboo. So that is the light fixtures being updated. And then we also have this other option here. Now, what I want to do is I also want to show this new design lock. So let's do another study and another test here. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to create a mood board, and I'm going to go ahead and change this to manual upload. And I'm going to go ahead and upload an image. Now, this is actually my kitchen at my house in Colorado. I just did a kitchen renovation. I will tell you guys, if you want to spend more money than you have and you want to drive your wife nuts, do a kitchen renovation. You end up doing your dishes in your laundry room sink and eating microwave dinners for the next 3 months. So I digress, but that is a kitchen renovation experience. So I have this manual upload of this kitchen. I'm going to go ahead and create a let me find it really quick. I can't talk and select at the same time. It's interior design board. So I have this kitchen, and I'm going to tell Veras, you're an expert senior interior designer creating concept presentation for a client. Your task is to thoroughly analyze the image and deconstruct it. We're going to go ahead and extract and look closely at the image to identify crucial elements and define the style, the color palette, the overall aesthetic. We're going to ask it to create materials and finishes. We're going to tell it to capture specific patterns, rugs, textiles, fixtures, and furniture, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of detail in this prompt. And we're going to go ahead and hit render. And this is actually one of the presets inside of Veras. So if you guys go to Veras, we have a bunch of presets that you can grab, and those are available to you with the install. So Veras image presets here. These are some ones I created myself, and I'm going to show you these and actually share some of these with you as well as we get a little later. How we doing on those answers, Rick? And any questions that we should be answering at the moment?
Yeah, I'm actually going through them right now. People asking if the session is being recorded, and yes, it is, and it will be available on our YouTube channel later this week. Also, we do have a few questions, for example, from Kutad, which prompt subheadings, lighting, constraints, components are an absolute must and irrelevant.
Good question. So, the more information you give the prompt, the better. So, things if lighting is important to you, the way that it looks, those kinds of it's going to infer. And we have some back end prompt engineering that we do as well to try to get the best possible results. But there is, if you put in certain lighting or certain camera, the other thing I like to mention is that, usually you can tell if you're looking at like a V-Ray render or an Enscape rendering. In here with the prompt, you can actually start to define, the rendering style that you want. So that is something that is helpful when you put inside your prompt. It's not imperative, but if you want better renderings, putting in lighting, camera types, those kinds of things are helpful. Looks like we got another question. Will there be a discussion on the topic of integrating site-specific context using the reference image tool? I was not planning on doing that, but if it's something that the group is really excited about, I will be happy to show that. I will be showing the reference image tool though for this interior. So all right, we got a few different examples in here. So you can see these different interior boards. This might be something that you typically go to, your client and be able to, have different materials and different fixtures and furniture and art and such. And so in here, I have this one, and I can go ahead and download this. The other thing I can also do is I can bring it right over into my reference image. And I'm going to show you two different kind of workflows here. So the first, what I can do is I'll go ahead and grab this mood board, and I'm actually going to create, I hit this little plus button under reference image, and I can drop that guy right here. You see it highlight. And then if I go back, I'm going to go ahead and go back to my Enscape rendering. So I'll go here, and then I can go ahead and change this prompt because I don't want it to be a mood board again, but I can say, apply these materials and lights and colors to the scene. But also just because I have this here, it also could work as well without the prompt. Go ahead and hit render, but we'll just try to give it a little bit more direction here and see what we get as a result. And then the other thing we can do as well is just drop in a reference image too. But what's nice about this one here is that if I have, this specific image, I can bring this, for future projects. Sometimes we get this content is blocked if it thinks that there's something malicious, which we don't have in here, shouldn't be. If you do have anything like copyright content, like, Disney or other information in here, because we're using Google's Nano Banana, it will try to make sure that that information doesn't surface into the image. So a little safety protocol as we get into this new AI era. So here we have, this scene with the cabinets. We have our signs. We have our carpet. We have the wood floors here. The other thing I can do also is drop in the image as well. So I could grab reference image, and I actually could go through and grab any image that I have, and it can apply, that information to our scene as well. So kind of two different ways that you can, work with the reference image, either creating a mood board or grabbing an actual image and then applying that to our scene. So you can see it did pick up some of the cabinets. Coffee maker's kind of in an awkward spot, and I don't know if I need two coffee makers, but that is the fun you get with AI sometimes. Oh, and I do see the question you put up here. Thanks, Rick. Just flag me if I am not paying attention. What are the suggestions to ensure the camera position angle do not move? I see right now that the camera position is moving slightly, which is always something. But the camera angle is just try, if we put in that prompt like we did before, is like keep the camera angle exactly the same. It should try to retain that. I think it should be trying to do a decently good job. Like you can see here, if I go back and forth between these two, it should keep the camera angle pretty much exactly the same. Or the image should match the rendering, rather, is what I'm trying to say. But if it does move, just, prompt in here, keep camera angle exactly the same, and it should honor that. All right. Now, what I want to do, let's say that I like one of these, maybe this design option here. What I'm actually going to do is change the camera angle a little bit. But what I want to do is kind of show you how we can try to retain the information that's in our scene. So I'm actually going to download this image, and I'm going to go ahead and upload it here to our reference image. Go to my downloads really quick. Grab this guy. And we have this new design lock feature. And I actually have been having pretty good luck with it in Enscape. We'll see how we do with a live demo. That is the fun of it. We'll see if it will behave. So I'm going to go ahead and change my camera angle slightly and try to get outside of this a little bit. So one of the challenges we've had with AI is if you change your perspective, what does the AI do? And what I want to do is if I have this reference image and I have design lock on, I have a new perspective, and I say, we'll just go ahead and just use the reference image, and I'll show you guys that this should work as well. I'll maximize here and see if we go ahead and hit render. We should now get that referenced image with the design lock and that image that we had loaded into our new scene, so we get the consistency from one angle to the next. So that's what this design lock should do. All right. Any questions coming in, Rick, that I should answer while we're waiting on this one? Version 7, we often generate renders that are just near done but need specific edits. We often draw shapes or select by material to render selection, but Veras still changes outside the selection. So in that, sometimes what will help is if you say, change the information in the selection, but keep everything else exactly the same. I will say 90% of the time it should honor that selection and your prompt. Because it's AI, sometimes we're still working on this control layer, and it may not, but that is a way that you could try to get, really dialed in with your selection. Okay, so I want to show you guys, this is pretty stinking cool, that even though we changed our angle, it even has this little, decoration here on the counter, and it even honored that and made sure that that was placed in our scene. So this is pretty cool, and something that just was not possible, I would say, 7 months ago, or even 3 months ago. 7 months ago we entered the Nano Banana Render 7 uh, engine, and then we implemented this design lock, I think about 2 or 3 months ago, where you could actually change the perspective. And so what we're trying to do is, the AI tends to have a lot of creative freedom, which is great for ideation. But then I know you guys, just like me, when we're using these tools, we want to be able to have consistency and control over the image as well. And so using this design lock is a way that you can use that and keep that, control happening. All right, I'm going to keep going unless there's some other questions. We've noticed that sometimes a longer and more specific prompt is actually the worst, and than a simpler prompt. Could you talk more about how much to be specific? For sure. So sometimes a longer prompt can start to have conflicts in it, and sometimes the more that's in there, it'll have a hard time trying to reconcile your prompt with what the image has in it, and the output, and it's trying to think about what to prioritize, how to prioritize it. Typically information at the top is going to be prioritized, as well as the subject. So whatever you have as the subject in your scene, it should try to honor that the most. Again, if you want to try to say, keep everything exactly the same, but change the windows, swap the rug, but don't change anything else. Just as much direction as you can give to the AI, and to try not to have, conflicting information, photorealistic as well as like pencil sketch. You want to make sure that there's not conflicting information in the prompt. Some of those things will help. But it's still kind of a process as far as dialing in that prompt. We also have a prompting ebook as well that is very helpful for trying to write your best practice prompts. So some of those things will help you, have a more successful prompt. All right, just to keep this train going, I'm going to go ahead and move over to the side here, and I want to show you guys another workflow that I'm pretty excited about. Continuing on, we go over here. I have this empty scene, and you'll see that I have, no materials applied. I'm going to go ahead and take this out. And let's see here. I'm trying to think if I want to grab a reference image or create something from scratch. Let's say maybe I'll grab this reference image, and I could go ahead and update this picture. And I'm going to kick off one here. Let's do a few. Why not? It's fun. We'll grab this reference image, and I have it set on style reference. And we'll kick that off. While we're doing that, I see a question from Michael. When you want to edit several views of the same project and maintain same design parameters so everything looks cohesive, what are the prompts and commands I need to do? I think having a reference image like I was showing before and using that design lock will help a lot as you're starting to navigate, especially from the interior, but even from the exterior as well. Using that design lock should help you get that consistency and common design thread throughout your project. So hopefully that is helpful for you. All right. You can see here I have this style reference. I'm going to go ahead and add another one. And then I'm also probably going to just do one from scratch as well. I'm going to have some fun too. And I think I'm going to grab this one. This is actually from a picture I took from the Stanley Hotel. And go ahead and hit render. Maybe it's yelling at me because of the size of that, but we'll see. I see another question. Vantage and Enscape both have the same Veras tool sets. Enscape, I don't know for tool set. Veras is inside Enscape, and Veras is our AI enablement function and tool. And so I don't know if Vantage and Enscape, I'm not as familiar with Vantage, but I don't believe Vantage has the AI component. And then Enscape does have Veras, which enables this. So Veras is the answer to get some of the AI components. But of course, you can, use those other tools for rendering different angles and perspectives. It just may not be infused with the AI piece. Kudad says we're still a bit confused why we'd ever render a 4K when we can render a bunch of iterations on 1K and upscale it at the end in order to preserve. So you can do that. The upscale feature right now is not great, but you can use third party, and you can also use the Chaos upscaler as well to upscale it if you want. But I guess the reason you might do one over the others if you want one shot versus like creating two renderings. So I could go through and do 1K, 2K, or 4K renderings. But the workflow you're proposing is great. I like what you're proposing because if I like a rendering, I then can go, okay, I like this one. Let's go ahead and upscale it versus like, maybe I get something I don't like the coffee maker example. I don't want to upscale this image where, might have a weird artifact. So I think what you're proposing is fine and is not bad. All right. There's my Stanley Hotel image. You can see probably the interior designers might be shrieking on the call right now, but you can see this carpet and the wall pattern, and it does, take that as well. So you can see like how you can get drastically different results with this reference image. I'm going to go ahead and use one of my presets though. And I'm going to do another thing as well. So let's go ahead and kick off. I have this interior. No, I want to grab my one that I created last night. And I think instead of this guy, I'm going to say embellish black. I'm going to say a wood slat. Let's say a parametric wood slat feature wall on the back wall. And I'm going to kick off a few of those. Let's actually do 4 of those. And while we do that, Rick, is there a question I can answer here? Could you explain the role of chips? Yes, I'm going to show that. We need them for our prompt is strong. So yes, I'm going to show actually the style chips. Thank you for that reminder. But I will be showing style chips here actually very close on this next example. The style chips are pretty cool. Tyler says we model placeholder furniture in Revit. What's your experience on furniture? On our furniture scale and placement is never exactly as they modeled. They move closer to each other, or the scale is off of it. Yeah, if you have furniture in your scene, that's going to be much more helpful. I'm going to show you guys how we can actually place furniture in an empty scene, though. Here, all right. So in here we have a few different examples with this kind of. Well, I'm actually going to say undulating. See if we get a better result here. I'm going to kick off a few of those. What I'm trying to do is kind of get a flowing kind of undulating wood slat wall here on the back. You can see though, I did get a few different design options. In here, what we can do again is just, you can multi-thread your renders. In here, I'm doing 4 at the same time. So that way I can get 4 different design options. And let's see, some of these came back. I like this one. This is what I was kind of looking for, was something more like this here. So we did get this for this kind of feature wall. And what I want to do now too is show you guys this text to image feature, as well as I want to show you how you can start to create like axonometric views and examples of that as well. So in here, I have this kind of undulating wall. And what I could do is I could say, let's change this back to rendered, or I can say auto, and it'll grab this shot. And then I'm going to say, isolate the back undulating wood wall and create a axonometric diagram of the wood slats. Don't show anything else except the wood slat wall that is in the back. And let's kick off 4 of those and see what we get. And what I'm trying to do is try to give it, again, as much direction that I don't want to see the people. I don't want to see the plant. I don't want to see the floor. I just want to see the wall. And one of the things I want to show you here is that you can actually create different workflows or different applications of a rendering. So, and this was not possible either before. So in here, I went from this blank room with this kind of undulating parametric looking wall. And then in here, I now have this diagram, and you can see like it even picked up, this little detail. Let's see if I grab this one. I'll bring it a little closer so we can look at it. You can drag these, by the way, so you can bring your renderings closer to each other if you want. And I can go ahead and say, I can look at these different examples, and it actually, can put in fonts and callouts, text, etc. to this. It can put in, the different structural members, close-up details. I'll mention like double check it, make sure it's accurate. Again, it's AI, so sometimes it will create weird artifacts in here, but this one did a pretty stinking good job. So you can see in here, I actually have these different diagrams that I could actually have for that wood slat wall as well. So that's a fun example. Max is asking, is the design lock successful in achieving consistent renders if you want to transition from a bird's eye view to a street level? Give it a shot. See if it is. I haven't tried that workflow before. I've only tried close up. I think the closer up you are, the better results you're going to get. But you can definitely try it and see what you get. But I do think close up is going to be better. Okay. What I want to do now is show you guys the text to image feature. I'm going to go ahead and change this source image to none. So this is different than what we've done so far. So far, we've been using either the Enscape render, the rendered image, or auto. I'm changing this to none. I'm going to change this from film photography and interior. I'm going to go ahead and kick off a few of these presets, and I'll talk about these. But basically in here, I have a few different furniture ideas, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this Veroni concrete table, these faceted chairs. I'm going to grab this Veroni pattern light fixture. I'm going to grab, should have one more. Should have a pendant. Yeah. Oh, here we go. This honeycomb pendant. There we go. My old man eyes, guys. I'm telling you, turn 40 and everything goes downhill. Watch out. Don't get old, kids. This is what happens. So I've been like pushing off the glasses as long as I can, but it's probably time. So, all right. So in here we have this table. We have a light fixture. We have a few more that are coming through. Got this other one with the faceted chairs. And you can see we got quite a few different results. Okay. So text to image, we got, some different furniture ideas. And what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to show you this new feature we have. And there is our honeycomb light fixture. I'm actually going to grab one more of these because it might conflict with that. But what I want to do is I'm going to grab this and I'm going to go to the edit tab. And if you hit this little drop down here, we have this remove background. Okay. So I'm going to remove background for this table. I'm going to kick that off. I'm going to grab this light. We'll remove background on that guy, remove background on the chairs. And let's see if that honeycomb came back yet. Not yet, but you can see here we have the table removed. There is the light pendant. There's the chairs. This one is still added the table, but in here we do have the chairs and this table. Let's try to get that honeycomb though. Kick off 2 more of those. And so this is a workflow where you could start to create, image assets. We went from, nothing to this table, to the chairs, to the honeycomb light fixture. And then now, again, for those that didn't catch it, we went to the edit tab and clicked this and we said remove background. And it is removing the background for some of those. Let's see. I'm going to try to roll with these 2, but this guy, I do not want the remove background. Let's just go back to the render and see if we can get a good honeycomb one. There we go. This one came in. This one's not bad. Okay. All right. And we'll say remove background on this guy. Let's see what we get. So what I'm going to do now is I'm also going to go back to my scene. I'm going to change this back to the, let's say the rendered image. I'm going to go, you can hit these arrows to cycle through these. Actually, I'm going to go back to this scene here where we had this blank room and these finishes. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a referenced image, and I'm going to grab these chairs, and I'm going to change this from style reference to object reference. Okay. And then I'm going to grab this table. We'll grab, whoops, dang it. All right. Hang on. Bear with me. Bear with me. All right. I'm going to go ahead and add these back, and we're going to try not to hold the selection. So you want to just grab and pull them, grab this table, pull that. And let's see, did we get any of these? I don't want to risk it. All right. Let's go ahead and delete that. And let's see if we can add this pendant in here as well. Let's add an object reference for this and grab this pendant. Okay. There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and kick off. Let's do 4 options on this one and see what we get. So in here, I have the rendered image. I have the chairs, the table, the light fixtures in here as the, oh, son of a gun. I missed the object reference, guys. Sorry about this. This is the fun with the live demo. So at least you guys know, not blowing smoke here. We have these need to make sure that the referenced image is object, not style reference. We should get some interesting results because I don't want it to match the style of this. I want it to have the object. So it's not a live demo unless something goes wrong, as I like to say. And so get those to come back, and we'll re-render some of those. While I'm waiting, though, Max asked, do you feel that Revit to Enscape to Veras is the most successful workflow? We utilize SketchUp for early conceptual masking and often need to add significant amounts of information to maintain consistency. The workflow that I like about Veras inside Enscape is that it has better geometry retention. Again, because we're actually accessing the objects that are in that scene, we get to borrow from some of the technology that's inside of Enscape, and we could actually be able to get the retention, select the objects, select the materials that are in that. And because of that, I do find it more successful with Enscape. But for those that don't know, you can use Veras inside Revit, you can use it inside Rhino, you can use it inside SketchUp. Most, if not all, the same features are in there that I'm showing today. But it is, you can use, pick whichever tool you want and for the workflow that you want. But I do find better success using Veras inside Enscape. And as we get more tightly coupled, we'll get better results as well. Okay, I'm going to kick these off again the right way. Again, make sure that you have these set to object and not to style. So that way, what it's going to do is it's going to try to find the object in the scene. It's going to take the rendered image, and then it's going to populate those in there. While we're waiting for the right ones to come back, Rick, do you have some other questions here that I could answer? From Fabrizio, will we have something in the future that can animate people and objects using AI by following paths in Enscape? Yes, that is a great question. If we have time, I can show some of the things that we're working on. But yes, you will have that. And I'm also going to show the image to video feature that we have as well. But yes, we are working on video to video to be able to follow paths as well. So that should be pretty sweet. All right. Yeah, because I picked the design reference, I'll just show you the crazy. Look at this. This is insane. So this one, I didn't pick the object on this one. This one tried to do the style reference. So we got a bit of crazy. I don't know. Maybe if this is your thing, you could do it. Rock it. All right. Let's see. Some of these are starting to come back. Again, here it's trying to apply some of the crazy there, but we did get some of these objects into our scene. Hopefully some of the ones that come back will be correct. We have some of those early pendant ones, and we'll get these updated here. So in here, though, what we're trying to do is we're trying to add those objects to our scene. Let's see, here we get something that makes a bit more sense when I pick the right setting. So object reference here, you can see it went ahead and populated the scene. And this tends to be a bit more coherent when you pick the right settings. So in here I have, let's roll with this one. And I'm going to actually do something. Let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and turn these off. And I'm going to say, and let's change this from render to auto. So that way we're looking at this. I'm going to say add people to the scene. And let's kick off a few of those. And while we're waiting for that to come back, what questions do you got for me, Rick? Any coming in that I can answer? From Dennis. Good point, Matthias. How many credits does this seminar use, or how many does a typical rendering use? Great question. So it depends. It depends on which render engine you use. So we have, and I need to make sure I pick my right shot here. I'm going to answer this, I promise, but let me get us going with our right scene. This should be set to auto, and this should say add people to the scene. Okay, we're going to kick off this. Okay, so your question was about the credits that get consumed. It depends on which engine you use. And so in here, if I say version 7 Flash versus version 7, you'll see the credits. So version 7 Flash is going to use 1 to 2x. The version 7 is going to be 1.5 to 3.5x. That is your Nano Banana Pro versus Nano Banana Flash. Your version 6 Sharp, which is the Stable Diffusion, is going to be unlimited. If you change your resolution while you're on Flash, it'll be like 1x versus 1.5x versus 2x. If I use the version 7 in here, these you'll see is 1.5, 1.5, and 3.5. So it really depends on what render engine you use, what resolution you use, and what feature you're using is going to be different gradations of AI credits that get consumed. All right, we got a few people in the scene. Let's see, kind of like this one. And what I'm going to do is I want to show you guys these style chips as well. I think another question surfaced too. If I missed that one, Rick, let me know if it needs to be re-popped up there. I was trying to answer the AI credit one. But I'll go ahead and I want to show you guys the style chip. So in here, I have this rendering, but maybe like I want it to be like a watercolor. So I'm going to change this, change the prompt. We don't need to add people, already has people. I'm going to kick this off and I'm going to say, if I have this watercolor, I can hit that. And then you can also create your own style chips. So in here, I created a few, but let's say I want to add, a pencil sketch. And what you can do is the style chip prompt. I'm going to say a black, or I'm going to say, let's say a colored pencil sketch drawing. And we'll hit that. And then here, the name can be pencil sketch. All right. Try to make this case correct. I'll save it. There it is. I can add it to my scene. So now I have a pencil sketch style chip. And these are things that like you might be using a lot. So in here, I'll turn off watercolor. We'll do 3 of those. And you can see now I have kind of this like watercolor kind of look. And so these style chips are things that you might use in a prompt quite often. Like for us, some of the ones we ship to you guys is like cinematic, film photography, turbo nature, is aerial view, is interior, etc. And now you can add your own style chips in here, so that way you can repurpose those to your heart's content. All right. So now we have some of these pencil sketches that came through. I actually like some of these, and I'm going to show a cool feature now. I'm going to go over to the video, and let's change this to rendered. No, let's change this to, yeah, we'll do rendered, but then I'm going to swap it. So again, I'm going to go all the way over here to our rendered image with our pencil sketch specifically, because I think this will be fun. And I'm going to go ahead and prompt in here, animate this scene with the man and woman talking to each other and laughing. All right. And we have a few different video models as well. I'm going to do 2. Let's do this 1.2 and we'll kick off. No, I'm going to do 1 because I want to don't want to hijack all my renders for this. And then I'm going to go to this Google video. This is one that we did. We have audio actually now with this new video model for Google VO. So you could actually add audio to your scene if you want. And you can use that. It's pretty good. This one's going to consume more credits because it's the better quality one. And Google charges us a lot. So therefore, unfortunately, charges you as well. But we do have the ability to use these. And then you can go ahead and have, we'll see how the quality is, but it should be better. And then we'll be able to have a video model. And it's also faster as well. While I'm waiting on some of those, any questions coming in, Rick, that I should answer? The people frequently appear distorted or uncanny in exterior large-scale renders. What prompt can improve the human quality? That is a great question. I will say the thing that you can do is make sure you're using the Nano Banana version 7 in here. So when you're doing your render, version 7 is going to be 7 or 7 Flash is going to give you better results. If you use the Stable Diffusion version 6, they're really not great. But the further away you are, the worse the results are in my experience. But I will say that, they're not terrible in 7 and 7 Flash. So I'm even just curious, like some of the earlier ones we did. Let's just see. These people I think are pretty good. So you can see in here, and they're fairly far away. You might get some weird artifacts, but it's not bad. Like I see, everyone has their extremities. I don't see, 3 or 4 legs or a woman with, 4 arms. But it should be pretty decent with the new engine that we have. All right, let's go back over to this video, see what we got. So we actually have, which is crazy, a video of this pencil sketch, actually. And I did this just because I thought it would be fun. You, of course, can do more photorealistic and things like that. But we do have this one here. We have this question from Alexander. Let's see. Can you answer whether or not material ID channels export in the development roadmap? Those are in the roadmap. So yes, when you have your channels for your image, those can be exported in the future for sure. Okay, now we have 5 minutes left, so I want to be sensitive to that and see. Let's see. Bodhi has a question. Veras video to video would be incredibly compelling, featuring enhanced fly-throughs. Yes, that is coming. Keep a lookout. We will work on that piece for sure. So what I want to do is give you guys some takeaways here. Basically, what we're going to be doing is having a gift that we're going to be sending to all of you guys. And to watch your email, check your spam folder, because we actually have that will be being sent out. If you guys want to learn more about how to use Veras and some, assets to, some tools in your tool belt to get the good results that you're looking for, we'll have those. The other thing I want to show is the forum and the academy. So let me grab those and say here, if I bring these over, we have a new forum in here that you guys can start posting some of your questions in. I'm going to go ahead and 2 things I wanted to do, actually. I'm going to throw this in the chat. This is the forum. I'm actually going to post the academy as well. Am I breaking any rules, Rick, here by adding these links to the chat?
No, just you're not.
Oh,
you're good.
Okay. All right. We have here the Chaos Academy, and these should be Veras specific. So you can grab those. And then the thing I forgot to share, I don't want to forget this as well. I'm going to do something else, guys. I have these different prompts in here. And the thing I forgot to tell you guys is that you can share these. And so like if you guys like, say, this axonometric one or this table, I can actually grab these prompts and I can share them. And so I just put that URL in there. Now this URL is crazy. Don't judge me. But I can put this in here. And then on your guys' side, you can grab this prompt by going to import And then you can grab any one of those, like that last link that I just sent you, just highlight that link. And I'm going to do it myself, copy, paste, and then you can say import, and it imports that for you as well. So I wanted to share these with you guys. These are some fun ones that I thought you might enjoy playing with. So I'm going to share those and drop those in the chat as well. So those are some fun resources that you could use. What else, Rick? Anything else I missed for takeaways, action items here at the end, closing us out?
No, I think we're good.
Okay, sounds good. I have one more I'm going to share. I'll share this faceted chair. And you should have that. Bodhi asks, can multiple people work on the same Veras page? Great question. Not yet, but in the very near future, we're going to have some new workflows that we're working on. The main thing that we're working on is this collaboration layer. So being able to work in Veras and share that kind of session. Working on a infinite canvas node mode. We're working on the video to video. We're working on sending images back to the model. We have a bunch of features. And so I think in the future, we might have a session just talking about some of those. So I was advised not to talk too much, but I can't help myself. So there's a few different features in the roadmap, but there's a lot of things we're very busy working on trying to integrate Veras further into some of these platforms and closing this gap between where I say like pixels go to die. So pixels go to die when we just create the image and that's it. It's an image, but wouldn't it be sweet if we could bring it back to Enscape, bring it back to the BIM environment? Those are some things that we're really working on here in the very near future. So some takeaways, you guys have some of these links here you can bring into your project, but I do want to be sensitive for time. I'm sure everyone wants to get chomping at the bit using Veras or getting those deadlines out. Hopefully this has been helpful and appreciate you guys joining us today. All right, everyone have a great day, a great week, and hope you guys have a good one. Take care.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will be seeing you in the next one. Cheers.
Cheers.